Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees for our weekly Tuesday Satsang program. So, in the previous weeks, we were discussing the pastime of Lord Varaha, appearance of Lord Varaha, lifting the Bhumandala, fighting with Hiranyaksha, delivering him, and the praises and then Falashruti. We discussed about all these things. And now, in the 20th chapter, last week, we have seen that Vidura, of course, in Naimisharanya, the sages of Naimisharanya were requesting Suta Goswami to continue the narration since they want to hear more and more. And now here, Maitreya is being asked by Vidura about what had happened further. How did Brahma create further? How did Brahma engaged his Manasaputras, such as the Prajapatis, Daksha and others, in continuing the creation? Did they do on their own through their mystic powers, or did they do creation with the help of their wives? Such kind of queries were made by Vidura. And now, from verse number 12 all the way up to the end of the chapter, Maitreya kind of summarizes what he had spoken previously and also what he had omitted previously, what he did not speak in detail previously. He will touch upon those things in this chapter. So that is the whole subject matter of this chapter. So let us see what Maitreya is saying to Vidura in relation to the subject matter of primary creation by Lord Vishnu and the secondary creation by Lord Brahma. Maitreya uvacha daivena durvitarkena parena nimishena cha jatakshobhat bhagavato mahan asit gunatrayat. So here, in the very first verse, he goes to the very beginning of the discussion. So wherein in the 5th chapter, Maitreya talked about the primary creation by Mahavishnu. So from verse number 12 to 17, he kind of summarizes what Mahavishnu did, how he created unlimited number of the universes. In brief, he kind of summarizes, Daivena durvitarkena parena nimishena cha jatak shobhat bhagavato. So at the very beginning, when Mahavishnu wanted to create, from his various skin pores, there appeared Dravya. Dravya is another name of Pradhana. Pradhana is another name of Prakriti or material nature. It's basically the material nature which is known as Dravya here, appears in the skin pores of Mahavishnu. And then Mahavishnu then glances upon Prakriti or Pradhana or Dravya. That glance carries Daivena, means karma, which is carried out under the supervision of Devatas. Durvitarkena, how karma functions in this material world, it is very difficult to understand by Tarka, by our logic and reasoning. So how Devatas control us as per our karma, based on our karma, that is very difficult to analyze. We cannot understand it based on our logic and reasoning. That's why it is called Daivena Durvitarkena. Parena Animishena cha. Parena means by the karma, and then the living entities. The Supreme Lord who is desiring to create all the living entities. His desire is to provide a facility for the living entities to perform all the variety of activities in this material world. So Parena Kala Karma Svabhava. Parena, one sense, refers to the jivas who have superior nature in comparison to matter. And then Animisha. Animisha refers to the time, which is Lord's potency, which puts Prakriti into action. So when Karma, Kala, Swabhava along with Jiva enters into Pradhana through the glance of Supreme Lord, Bhagavato indicates by the glance of Supreme Lord, Mahan Asis Gunatraya. From the Prakriti consisting of 3 modes of material nature, there comes Mahatattva. Mahan refers to Mahatattva. So basically, first when Lord wanted to create, Pradhana comes out of his skin pores. Then Mahavishnu glance upon that. That glance carries Kala, Karma, Swabhava, and Jiva. By their entry into Pradhana, Pradhana goes through transformation and it gives birth to Mahatattva. Raja Pradhanam Mahatas Trilingo Daiva Choditat Jata Sasarja Bhutadir Vyat Adini Panchasha. Initially, Mahatattva is in the mode of goodness. So basically, the Prakriti which contained three modes, Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamaguna, first Sattva-guna becomes activated. Then Mahatattva was born. And eventually, Rajoguna becomes activated. As Rajoguna becomes activated, there appears Sutra Tattva, another category of Mahatattva that is. And when eventually, when Tamoguna becomes activated, there appears three lingo. Ahankara consisting of three modes. Ahankara appears when Tamoguna becomes activated. So from that Tamoguna, Jata Sasarja Bhutadir, the source of Panchabhutas, that is called Ahankara, there appears Panchamahabhutas and their transformations in the form of Pancha, the five Tanmatras, the five gross elements have their five properties. Earth has fragrance, water has taste, and fire has form, air has touch, ether has sound. So they are manifested, and five Jnanendriyas, five Karmendriyas, such as Panchasha, all in five groups, they all appear from Ahankara. So thus, one after the other, all the 24 elements are manifested from Pradhana. Tani chaikaika srishtum asamartani bhautikam samhutyadaiva yogena haimam andam avasrujan. Though the 24 elements are created, asamartani bhautikam, they are incapable of creating universes on their own. Then they offer prayers to Supreme Lord. Then Supreme Lord enters into all the 24 elements as cohesive energy, Vibhush Shakti. By that energy, all the 24 elements come together, and from that combination, there appears Haimam Andam, golden egg, or unlimited Brahmandas, the universal eggs consisting of 7 layers, an empty shell consisting of 7 layers. So like that, unlimited universes have been formed by the combination of the 24 elements, by the entry of the Lord into them as cohesive energy. So sa ishtabdi shalile andakosho niratmaka sagram vai varsha sahasram anvavasitam ishvara. All these empty golden shells, all these empty Brahmandas, they floated on Karana ocean for 1000 celestial years. Sagram vai varsha sahasram. Andakosho niratmakam. Niratmakam means without life. Without life, all these universal shells, all these Brahmandas floated on Karana ocean for 1000 celestial years. Then what happened? Anvavasis Tamishwara. Then after the completion of 1000 celestial years, Lord Mahavishnu, expanding himself as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, enters into each and every universe as its Atma, or as the Paramatma of the universe. Tasya nabera bhutpadmam sahasrar koru diditi sarva jivani kayuku yatra swayam abuswarat. Tasya naber. From the Nabi, of course, before that some things are happened. When Garbhodakshaya Vishnu enters into the universe, there was nothing inside. It was completely a dark universal shell. It is completely empty and completely dark. So Garbhodakshaya Vishnu was not happy with the current situation. He wanted to take some rest. So for that purpose, he created water from his own body. That water filled the lower half of the universe, and upper half is filled with air and ether. Then Garbhodakshaya Vishnu went inside the water and he took some rest. Then when it was the right time for creation, From his navel there appeared a beautiful lotus flower. Tasya Naber. And eventually, that Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, expanding himself as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, entered into that lotus as its Paramatma. Then, on top of that lotus appeared Lord Brahma. Yatra Swayam Abhuswarat. The independent Brahma appeared on top of that lotus as soon as the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, expanding himself as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, entered into that lotus. So it's like all the so many events which were mentioned in the previous chapters, they are not mentioned here, but in summarily they are being spoken. So Lord Brahma appeared on top of the lotus. Then what he did? So Anuvishto Bhagavata Yase Te Salilashaye Loka Samstam Yata Purvam Nirmame Samstaya Svaya. That Brahma initially tried to understand where from I have born, where from this lotus is coming up. So he tried to find out the source of himself and the lotus, but he failed. Then later on he heard Ta and Pa. He performed tapasya. As a result of that, he had darshan of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Then he offered prayers. He requested for empowerment. So with that empowerment, he divided the entire lotus into 14 planetary systems. Loka Samstam Yata Purvam. He divided the lotus into 14 planetary systems with all the facilities required for different living entities to reside as it was before. Matlab, in the previous creation, how they existed, same way, Lord Brahma divided that into 14 planetary system. So all the way up to this, maybe up to the previous verse till the birth of Brahma, that is all primary creation. And now from the next verse onwards, having divided the lotus flower into 14 planetary systems, he need to fill all the 14 planetary systems with different variety of living entities. So how did he create all the living entities? It's the subject matter of rest of the chapter. So in the 18th verse, it is mentioned that Sasarja Chayaya Vidyam Panchaparvanam Agrata Tamishram Andatamishram Tamo Moha Mahatama. So initially, in order to create all the variety of living entities, Lord Brahma manifested 5 kinds of avidyas, 5 different functions of avidya. Avidya means ignorance, or 5 functions of ajnana vrittis. 5 types of ajnana vrittis were created by Lord Brahma at the very beginning. They are known as Tamishram, Andatamishram, Tama, Moha, Mahatama. So this was also mentioned in the 12th chapter, where it is mentioned as Sasarjagre Andatamishram, Adatamishramadikut, Moham Mahamoham cha, Tamas Chagnana Vruttaya. Tamas, Moha, Mahamoha, Tamishra, Andatamishra. These are the 5 functions of avidya. So which were initially created. The purpose is in order to create different variety of living entities with different types of identity, the false identity must be there. When the jivas come from the spiritual world to the material world, if they still remember their old identities, they cannot exist for longer time in this material world. So they need to forget their original identity. That forgetfulness of original identity and getting a new identity will be offered by avidya potency. So that is happening in 5 features. So the first one is tama. Tama means ignorance. Ignorance means forgetfulness of one's original identity. Who one is in the spiritual world, that identity is being forgotten. It is lost. Now the person is no one. But to live in this material world, everyone should have one identity. That identity will be given by moha. Moha gives us the identity with respect to our body. As long as the jiva lives in the human body, that jiva thinks that I am a human being. As long as the jiva lives in the body of an animal, till then the jiva thinks then itself as I am an animal. As long as the jiva is living in the body of a devata, the jiva thinks oneself as devata, like that. So based on the body offered to that jiva, the jiva identifies with that body and continues in this material world. That is called moha. Moha means aham. And then Mahatama or Mahamoha. That means mama. Me is moha and Mahamoha means mama. I and mine. So mine is basically, Mahatama is basically when living entities are living in this world, they make friends with other living entities. So whichever living entities are giving satisfaction or enjoyment to that living entity, he makes friends with them, he becomes dear to them and they become dear to him. And he wants them for his entire life. That is called Mahamoha. He want to have that conception of these are mine, they are meant for my enjoyment, they are mine, like that. And then the fourth one is Tamishra. Tamishra means anger. So basically, when Jiva identifies with some other living entities or some other objects as one's own, somebody else also might want to identify them as his own. So there is a competition, then there is a envy, there is a anger between them. So that is called Tamishra. But finally, there is something called Andatamishra. That means false conception of false absorption of enjoyment. Basically, Jiva thinks that whatever I may do here, but I can only do until I live in this body. Once the time is over, I have no opportunity to enjoy anymore in this material world. So psychologically or uh, consciously, the Jiva want to enjoy as much as possible before death comes. That's why Jiva becomes completely absorbed in sense gratification. That is called Andatamishram. So these are the five functions of avidya. So with these five functions, Jiva becomes trapped in this material existence. So first Lord Brahma created all these five types of ignorance. Then taking their help, he continues to create all the variety of living entities. So in chapter 10, it was explained that initially Brahma, with the help of these five types of ignorances, he created four category of living entities. The first one was different variety of plants. The second one was different variety of animals, such as aquatics, such as birds, mammals, etc. Aquatics, reptiles, birds, and mammals. And then in the third category, he creates human beings. In the fourth category, he creates 8 types of superhuman beings. The superhuman beings consists of Devatas, Asuras, Yaksha Rakshasas, Kinnara Purushas, Gandharvas, Apsaras, Vidyadharas, Charanas, Bhuta Preta Pishashas, such as different variety of superhuman beings who are residing in the Bhurloka and Sargaloka. They were all created by Brahma in the fourth category. So there was little details mentioned about different variety of plants and their creation, different variety of animals and their creation, human beings and their characteristics are mentioned in that particular chapter 10. So, but not mentioned, not details of how Devatas were created is not mentioned in that particular chapter. The superhuman beings, how they were created is not mentioned in the chapter. So now in this chapter, he is going to talk about the creation of these 8 variety of superhuman beings, how they were created by Brahma. So that is with that one which was omitted previously is elaborated here in this chapter. So first it starts with Yakshas and Rakshasas. Visasarjatmanakayam Nabhinandam stamomayam Jagrur Yaksharakshamsi Ratrim Shutru Samudbhavam. So when Brahma created these 5 kinds of ignorances, which are in the nature of tama, ignorant, which are the functions of avidya, which are in the nature of tama, because the first one is tamas. From tamas only remaining 4 appeared. So Lord Brahma's consciousness becomes tamas. The tamas has arisen in his mind. From the tamas only all these 5 appeared. And the function of tamas is to make angry a person. When a person is ignorant, he becomes angry very easily. So these are the qualities of tamas, anger and other qualities. So then Brahma was not happy with this anger and its associated qualities. So as he was thinking thus, that anger has arisen in my mind. I'm not happy with this tamas and its qualities, anger and other things. So as he was thinking thus, immediately there appeared Yakshas and Rakshasas. So Yakshas and Rakshasas appeared. So Lord Brahma was not happy with that. So Yakshas and Rakshasas appeared. The Yakshas and Rakshasas are feeling very much hungry. Shutrut Samudbhavam. They were born with hunger. And Lord Brahma gave up that consciousness of tamas, that ignorance which had taken birth in his heart, he gave it up. It is though it is mentioned that he gave up his body, but it is basically the consciousness which he was experiencing during that time, the tamas he gave up. That took the form of night. And Yakshas and Rakshasas took night as their dwelling place, night as for their merriment, for their enjoyment. So then, because they were born with hunger and thirst, Shutrut they were looking for some object so that they can hunger and their hunger and thirst is satisfied. Shutrub Shutrubhyam upasprushtaste tam jagdum abhidurdruva Marakshatainam jakshadvam iti uchu kshutrutardita. So being tormented by hunger and thirst, these people who were created by Lord Brahma from his tamas consciousness, they pursued after Lord Brahma. Some said, Ma Rakshatainam, do not spare him, do not protect him, do not protect him. And others said that, Jakshaddam, eat him up, eat him up. And those who said Ma Rakshatvam, they became Rakshasas. And those who said Jakshadvam, they became Yakshas eventually. So that's how their identity has been defined. So in Bhagavad Gita, I think in the 9th chapter at one place it is mentioned that Yadashnashi Yajjuoshi Yatapashasi Kaunteya Tatkurushva Madarpanam. Yadashnasi means Yajjuoshi or Yadashnasi means basically Ashnasi means to eat, Yajjuoshi means to drink, something like that. They both are sometimes interchangeable also. Jakshadvam or Jagdam, they are all talking about the hunger and thirst which these two category people are experiencing. So the one peculiar nature of the Yakshas and Rakshasas is that they are the eaters of human flesh. They are cannibals category. They eat human flesh. Asuras do not eat human flesh, but Yakshas, Rakshasas eat human flesh. That is the distinction between Yaksha Rakshasas and Asuras. Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and all those people who are living in Ranka, they were all Rakshasas. And Kuvera and his associates who are living in Greater Himalayas, they were all Yakshas. So that is their nature. Devastanaha samvigno mamam jakshata rakshata aho me yaksha rakshamsi prajayuyam babuvita. Then Lord Brahma began to plead with the Yakshas and Rakshasas. My dear sons, my dear Yakshas and Rakshasas, all of you are my sons. Please do not eat me up. This is not good for you. It is not expected out of you. So somehow or other they were pacified. They did not eat Brahma, but they went away and ate some other living entities. So that's how the fearful creatures, Yakshas and Rakshasas, were created from the tamas which took place in the heart of Brahma. And they accepted the position of night. So these Yakshas and Rakshasas become powerful in the night time. They are also called as Nishachara, those who walk during the night times, those who move around during the night times. Then Brahma was not happy with this creation of ignorance. Then he meditated on the Supreme Lord, his heart became pure. From that purity, there appeared mode of goodness in his heart. So from that mode of goodness, there appeared the Devatas. And then for the pleasure of the Devatas, Lord Brahma gave up the consciousness of goodness. So from that consciousness, the good consciousness, there appeared daytime. So Devatas took the possession of the daytime so that Devatas can play, can sport different in different ways during the daytime. Devata Prabhayaya Divyam Pramukato Srujat Te Te Aharshur Devayanto Visrishtantam Prabhamaha. So basically, Devata Prabhaya Yaya, Lord Brahma experienced purity or enlightenment within his own heart. From that there appeared Devatas, and when for the pleasure of the Devatas, when he gave up that Prabha, that goodness, it became Prabham, daytime. Prabham, Aha. Aha means daytime. Ahar Nisha is the term used in Sanskrit. Aho Ratri, Ahar Nisha. Aho means daytime, Ratri means nighttime. Ahar Nisha, Nisha means nighttime, Aha means daytime. So that Prabha, that enlightenment or mode of goodness, transformed itself into daytime. And Devatas took the possession of daytime. So the first creation from ignorance is Yakshas and Rakshasas. The second creation from goodness is the Devatas. So like that, we'll discuss about the 8 creations. Devo Devan Jagnatata, Devo Devan Janganata, Srujati Samati Lolupan, Tayenam Lolupataya, Maitunya Bi Pedire. Then eventually at some other time, Lord Brahma felt lusty, which manifested from mode of passion. So mode of passion appeared in the heart of Brahma. From that mode of passion, Lord Brahma felt lusty. As he felt lusty, immediately there appeared all the variety of asuras. All the variety of asuras appeared during that time when Brahma was feeling little bit lusty. So then it is said that Devo Adevan Jagnata. Adevan, the non-Devata, the asuras appeared from the Jaganata. Jaganata means from the buttocks of Lord Brahma. So all these asuras, as Brahma became lusty because of the mode of passion, all these asuras appeared from his Jaganata. And then this lusty nature which Brahma had, eventually it is mentioned in the future verses, the mode of passion, which is the result of mode of passion, as Brahma gave it up, the asura that took the form of evening sandhya, evening twilight. So Lord Brahma accepted, the asuras accepted the twilight. That is being explained in the future verses. But before that, what happened? As soon as the asuras appeared from the buttocks of Lord Brahma, as a result of the birth of mode of passion in the heart, which transformed itself into lusty desires. Because these asuras, as a result, born as a result of lusty desire within Brahma, they developed a lusty desire against Brahma. So Maitunya Yabi Pedre, being overcome with lusty desire, they pursued after Brahma. So that is being indicated here in this verse. Then Tato Asansa Bhagavan Asurair Nirapatrapa. First Lord Brahma was Tato Asan. He was laughing, looking at the shameless act of Asuras. Because Asuras are coming towards Brahma, being overcome by the lusty desires in order to unite with Brahma. So Brahma initially laughed at them. Hey, what kind of behavior you are depicting? And then Anviya Manas Tarasa Kruddo Bhita Parapatat. First he laughed at them because of their shameless act. And then Anviya Manas Tarasa, he became angry and he shouted at them, trying to control them, said that, hey, what you people are doing, this is not fair. I am a male, you are male, it's not at all proper. Then still they did not stop. They are still pursuing after Brahma. Then Bhita Parapatat. Parar. Then unable to withstand them, unable to stop them, Brahma fled away from that place. Because they were still chasing after Brahma for union. And Brahma fled away from that place. Out of fear that these people are not listening to me, they are so rude in that way. Sa upavrujya varadam Prapannarti haram hari anugrahaya bhaktanam Anurupatma Darshanam. Then as he was fleeing away from the Asuras who were attacking him for copulation, he was praying to Lord within his own heart, wherein he said that Sa Upasruja Vardam, he took the shelter of the Supreme Lord, who is the bestower of all benedictions. Prapannarthi Aram Harim, he is the reliever of the distress of his surrendered souls. Anugrahaya Bhaktanam, he is the one who shows Anugraha, compassion to his devotees. Anurupatma Darshanam, and eventually will show himself to the devotees in whichever form they want to have darshan. So they are the different attributes of the Supreme Lord. Then Lord Brahma further say that Pahimam Paramatmamste Presane Nasrujan Praja Taima Yabitum Papa Upakramanti Mam Prabhu Pahimam Paramatmamste. My dear Lord, you are my super soul. Please protect me. These asuras are running after me for the purpose of the sinful act. So please save me, please protect me from these people. Paresha Nasrijam Prabha. I have created these beings following your order, but they are causing me pareshan. So please save me. So like that, Lord Brahma is praying to Supreme Lord Vishnu. Tvam eka kila lokanam klishtanam klesha nashana tvam eka kleshadastesham Anasanna Padam Tava. My dear Lord, you are known as Klishtanam Klesha Nashana. For the surrendered who go through difficulties, you are known as the remover of their miseries. For your surrendered devotees, you are always eager to remove their miseries. And for others, Tvameka Kleshadastesham Anvasana Padam Tava. And you are also known as the giver of misery for those who are non-devotees. It is not like that. The phrase appears to be like that. But the Lord never gives misery to any other non-devotees. But the understanding is the non-devotees, as a result of not surrender to Supreme Lord, they generally perform sinful activities. By the performance of the sinful activities, they create papa karma. That papa karma will reward them misery, life after life. So, of course, on their own, they will get misery. But when somebody surrenders to you, even though as a result of their past papa, if they are supposed to go through misery, but you will remove their miserable situation. So, in that way, Lord's wonderful quality towards the devotees is being glorified by Brahma. So, Lord Brahma indirectly telling that I, being feeling lusty, have created these asuras, and as a result of my act, and they are pursuing me to engage in Papa Akarya. So please, I am a soul surrendered unto you. Though I have made a sinful act of creating the asuras, please protect me. Something like that we can think of. So avadaryasya karpanyam viviktadhyatma darshana vimunchatma tanum goram iti ukto vimumochaha. Having heard the prayers of Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu told him that, so my dear Brahma, please give up that sinful disposition. So avadaryasya karpanyam viviktadhyatma darshana. The Supreme Lord, who is known as Vivikta, who is the all-knowing person, Adhyatma Darshana, who understands what is happening in the heart of each and every living entities. He can clearly see what is there in the heart of every person. That Supreme Lord told Brahma that Vimunchatma Tanum, please give up that body, please give up that lusty disposition, which is Ghoram. So, having heard these words from Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma gave up that sinful disposition. Then what happened? Tam kana charanambojam mada vivala lochanam kanchi kalapa vilasat dukula channarodasam. So, as Brahma gave up that sinful disposition, it took the form of evening twilight. It took the form of evening twilight. So all the asuras imagined that this twilight is a beautiful young woman. So it is mentioned in the future verses in the commentary that in the evening twilight we see that the sun is about to set. That time sun will be in the red crimson color. And in generally in the western side we see so many western mountains. There are so many mountains above which the sun is about to set, and the center arena is surrounded by so many clouds. Some of the nearby clouds are white, some of the middle clouds are some yellow color, some of the far clouds are blackish color, etc. etc. So this evening twilight arrangement appears to be a beautiful woman to the asuras. Tam Kwanak Charanambojam Mada Vivala Lochanam Kanchi Kalapa Vilasad Dukula Channa Rodasam. Being bewildered by evening twilight, being bewildered by mode of passion, being bewildered by lusty desires, they assumed the evening twilight as a beautiful young woman. So in the next set of verses, there are descriptions of that young woman, bodily features, etc. So many descriptions are there. We'll not discuss all of them. So many details are mentioned in these few verses. Her beauty from the feet to the head, everything is mentioned. So then they approached her. They began to ask her that, who are you? What is your name? Who is your father? Where from did you come? Like that, they are making so many queries. So, Kasi Kasyasi Rambaru, who are you, O beautiful lady? Ko Vartaste Artabamini, and whose daughter are you? Whom you belong? Rupa Dravina Panyena. So, Rupa Dravina Panyena Durbagan no Vibasate. We are highly unfortunate people. Though you are standing in front of us, we are not able to experience you. We are not able to experience your beauty. You are actually melting our hearts by your beautiful features. So please tell, who are you? Whom do you belong to? Like that, they are asking. Why don't you become ours? Like that, they are asking. Yava kvachit tvamabale dishta sandarshanam tava usnonu shikshamananam kanduka kridayamana. So then they say that whoever you may be, as of now, we are fortunate that we are able to see you. Dishta sandarshanam tava. So we have, though we are unfortunate that we are not able to have you as our own property, but at least we are seeing you. Thus we are fortunate. Then they say that, but you are agitating us by playing with a ball. Kanduka kridaya mana. So they are seeing the setting sun, the red crimson sun as a ball that is being played by this evening twilight, which they assume as the beautiful lady. So you are playing with a ball. So with that playful attitude of yours, you are actually tormenting us so much. So please don't torment us like that. They are praying to her. And then in the next verse, they say that, so you are playing with that ball. It seems that you are so much fatigued with that playing, and your glances are very bewitching, and your whole bodily description, your whole body is very beautiful, and you are attracting us so much. Like that, they further say, "Iti sayantim sandhyam asura pramadayitam pralobayantim jagrur matva modadiyasriyam iti sayantim sandhyam." Thus, they, out of illusion, being affected by lusty disposition, being affected by mode of passion, they have assumed the evening Sandhya, evening twilight, as Pramadayatim, a beautiful young lady, and they accepted the evening twilight for their pleasure. So the Yakshas and Rakshasas accepted the night, the Devatas accepted the daytime, the Asuras, the third category, accepted the evening twilight. Matva Mudadiya Sriyam, they accepted this evening twilight as a Sri out of their false intelligence. Mudadiya, out of ignorance, something like that. So thus three types of creation are being mentioned. So they accepted and went away. They did not pursue Brahma afterwards. They took that evening twilight and went away. So that is what is indicated here. And then Brahma further continues to create other living entities. Prabhas, Prabhasya Bhava Gambiram Jigrantyatmanam Kantya Sasarja Bhagavan Gandharva Apsarasam Ganam. So then later on one day, Lord Brahma Prahasya Bhava Gambiram. So he kind of felt very much satisfied and he was smiling. Pravasya Bhava Gambiram Jigrantyatmana Atmana. So he was smiling loftily by looking at himself, looking at his beauty. He was so much Bhava Gambiram. He became so much kind of proud, kind of astonished by looking at his own beauty. As he was feeling astonishment from looking at his own beauty, there appeared Gandharvas and Apsaras, who are known for their beauty. The Gandharvas and Apsaras, they are known for their beautiful bodily disposition. So they appeared from the beauty of Lord Brahma's body. So then, what did Brahma do? Kantya Sasarja Bhagavan. So they were all born from that beauty. Visrijyatanum tamvai Joshnam Kantimatim Priyam Tayeva Tayeva Chadadu Pritya Vishwavasu Purogama. Then eventually, having created Gandharvas and Apsaras, Lord Brahma gave up that mental disposition of being beautiful. Okay? That being beautiful consciousness transformed itself into the full moon light. The light, the moonlight of the full moon day, the Paurnami night. And Gandharvas and Apsaras took the possession of full moon light. So they accepted the full moon night. So that is their thing. So whenever Gandharvas and Apsaras wanted to present their art of singing and dancing, they wanted the environment like the full moon night. Even Lord Krishna also performed Rasalila only on Sharad Purnima. So the full moon light is favorable for performing the dance, etc., which is the main act of the Gandharvas and Apsaras. The Gandharvas sing and Apsaras dance, something like that. So that is their activity. Then, Srishtva Bhuta Pishashamsha Bhagavan Atma Tandrina Digvasa So Muktakeshan Viksha Chamilayadrishau. Later on, at one point of time, Brahma felt laziness. Atma Tandrina. He felt so much laziness within himself. So from that laziness, there appeared Bhutas and Pishashas. Bhuta, Preta, Pishasha, Kushmanda, Vetala. Such kind of all ghosts and hobgoblins. They all appeared while Brahma was feeling laziness. So all these Bhuta, Preta, Pishashas, as they appeared, Dikvasaso, they have worn the four directions as their clothes. All these Bhuta, Preta, Pishashas are actually clothless. They don't wear any clothes. And Mukta Kesha, their hair is left free. They don't tie the hair. Their hair is left free. Viksha Chamilaya Drushau. Having seen these Bhuta, Preta, Pishashas, Lord Brahma immediately closed his eyes. Then what happened? Jagrustad Visrushtam Tam Jrimbanakyam Tanum Prabho Nidram Indriya Klesh Vikledo Yaya Bhuteshu Drishyate Yenochistam Darshayanti Tam Unmadam Prachakshate. It is said that then having closed his eyes looking at the clothless bhutas and pishachas, Brahma felt unhappy and immediately gave that mental disposition of feeling lazy. That laziness is accepted by bhuta pretas. So wherever in this material world people are in lazy condition, the bhuta pretas becomes active and they haunt those people who are lazy, who are feeling lazy. So this is the understanding. So Nidram Indriya Vikledo. Generally, this laziness is being experienced in the sleepy condition, either during sleep or in sleepy condition. During sleep, the mouth and all the senses they emit phena. So generally, it happens. It can be seen the during the sleeping condition. In the morning, when we get up, the eyes are filled with so much other what we can say, some tears comes out and eyes are filled with so much waste substance, etc. And the mouth, from mouth comes something and the whole mouth is filled with a lot of uh, uh, bad substance and bad smell. In the morning we breathe, we brush our teeth, etc., clean mouth, etc., something like that. All the senses becomes contaminated throughout the night. So in that contaminated state, the human beings become susceptible for haunting, because the lazy condition or the contaminated condition is the place of uh, bhuta preta pishachas. So in that way. So in our school days, we always study that bhuta preta pishachas, they are all imaginary, they don't exist like that. We generally hear. If somebody says that I have seen bhuta and others say that what are you saying, jokes or what? So even today also people don't accept the existence of the bhuta preta pishachas. Many people don't accept. They say that so especially they say that you are educated. How can you say that bhutas, pretas exist? They don't exist. They are all illusory. They are all imaginary like that. But Bhagavatam is saying that they were created by Brahma at the very beginning of the creation. They were existing and they are existing. They will exist also. Something like that. Urjaswantam anyamana atmanam bhagavanaja sandhya sadhyan ganan pitruganan parokshena srujat prabhu. Later on, at one day, Lord Brahma, thinking himself as powerful and uh, he was thinking himself as powerful and invincible. Urjaswantam. He felt himself as more powerful and unconquerable. So from that thought process, there appeared Sadhyas, basically Sadhyaganas and Pitruganas. Both of them appeared. So from is uh, uh, thought process of powerfulness, he created sadhyas, and invincibility, he created pitrus. So sadhyas and pitrus, as they were created, the process of worshipping sadhyas and pitrus were also created by Brahma. So the processes, different process of offering different oblations and sadhyas and pitrus is also created at one time by Brahma himself. तात्मसर्गं तं कायं पितरा प्रतिपेडिरे साध्येभ्यश्च पितृभ्यश्च कवयो यद् वितन्वते. So it is said in this verse that the sadhyas and pitrus accepted those bodies. So basically, the consciousness of being powerful and being invincible, as he was thinking himself like that, the sadhyas and pitrus were created and their process of worshipping them is created. But eventually, Lord Brahma gave up that disposition. Sadhyas accepted the disposition of being powerful. Pitrus accepted the disposition of being invincible. And eventually, they became sustained by the offerings made by human beings with the names of Havya. By Havya, the Sadhyas are worshipped. By Kavya, the Pitrus were worshipped. Havya is basically when we perform yajna, whatever oblations we offer in the fire yajna, fire sacrifice, that is called Havya. Havan, we say that Yajna is called Havan. Havan, that Havan comes from the word Havya. The oblations that are offered in the Yajna are called Havya. So the Yajna is also called as Havan. And Kavya, it is basically the Shraddha rites are being performed for Pitrus. So by the process, by the ritualist ceremony known as Shraddha, the Pitrus are worshipped. So through Havan, Sadhyas are worshipped. Through Shraddha, Pitrus are worshipped. And they were also established by Lord Brahma at the very beginning. Then, Siddhan Vidyadharamschaiva Tirodanena Sosrujat Tebhyo Dadattam Atmanam Antardanakyama Adbhutam. So then, at one day, Lord Brahma, he understood that he had a special feature of becoming invisible. Antardana. So he understood that he had a special feature of becoming visible, becoming invisible. Antardanona. So as he was thinking that he had that facility, he had that special feature of becoming invisible, there appeared Siddhas and Vidyadharas. Siddhas and Vidyadharas. Siddhas, Charanas, Vidyadharas. Cha refers to Charanas. Siddhas, Charanas, Vidyadharas, they all appeared from this disposition of Lord Brahma being able to disappear. So eventually Lord Brahma gave up that disposition. Siddhas, Charanas, Vidyadharas accepted the disposition of disappearance. So the Siddhas, Charanas, Vidyadharas have this ability to disappear at one place and appear at another place. With their mystic power, they can go anywhere they want. So this particular thing also created. These are another type of creation by Lord Brahma. The first one was Yakshas and Rakshasas, and the second one was Devatas. The third one was Asuras. The fourth one was after that Bhuta Preta Pishashas. So Bhutas and Prichashas. And the fifth one was Sadhyas and Pitrus. And the sixth one was Siddhas, Charanas, Vidyadharas. Six were completed and two are remaining. So in the next verse, Lord Brahma, it is said that Maitreya says that Sa kinnaran kim purushan pratyatmenasrujat prabhu manayan atmanatmanam atmabhasam vilokayan. So where it is said that then at one other point of time, Lord Brahma looked himself into mirror. Prati Atma Asrujat Prabhu. Prati Atma. Atma means oneself, Prati Atma means one's own reflection. Once Lord Brahma saw himself in a mirror, his own reflection. And that reflection appeared very beautiful. And Lord Brahma felt very much happy with that reflection. And that reflection appeared very beautiful with the presence of femininity within it. The maleness is there and femininity, the both of them are there. That is called Atma Abhasam. It is a reflection of oneself. So as he was feeling very much beautiful by looking at him at a mirror, seeing himself consisting of maleness and femaleness combinedly, feminine and masculine combinedly, from that thought process there appeared Kinnaras and Kimpurushas with dual disposition. Both maleness and femaleness combined together, there appeared Kinnaras and Kimpurushas. And then Brahma gave up the disposition, and the Kinnaras and Kimpurushas accepted that body of reflection cast off by Lord Brahma. So one meaning of one understanding of Kinnaras of Kimpurushas is they have the dual mentality. The mentalities of both male and female together. Te tu tadjagru rupam taktam yat parameshtina maituni bhuya gayantas tamevo shashi karmabhi. So it says that as Brahma gave up that disposition that looking at his reflection in the mirror and feeling very happy, seeing that both maleness and femaleness are there together in that, and because of which it becomes very beautiful. So that disposition is accepted by Kinnaras, and Kinnaras live with that kind of mentality. Kinnaras and Kimpurushas live with that mentality. Maithuni Bhuya, they have the combined mentality of both male and female within their personality. So that is being indicated. So with this verse, the creation of 8 kind of personalities is being concluded. First, from mode of ignorance, he created Yakshas and Rakshasas, they accepted night. Then from mode of goodness, he created Devatas, they accepted the daytime. From mode of passion, he created the Asuras, they accepted evening twilight. Then, feeling so much satisfied by his own beauty, his natural beauty, he created Gandharvas and Apsaras. They have accepted the full moon night, the moonlight of the full moonlight. And then at one point of time, Lord Brahma was feeling lazy. From that laziness, there appeared Bhutas and Prichasas. And at one time, Brahma was feeling so much powerful and invincible. From that, there appeared Sadhyas and Pitrus. At other time, Lord Brahma was feeling that he can disappear at his own will. From that power of disappearance, Antardhana power, there appeared Siddhas, Charanas, Vidyadharas. At other time, Lord Brahma looking into the mirror, he was seeing himself more beautiful with the dual mentality of both male and female. From that consciousness, there appeared Kinnaras and Kimpurushas. Like that, 8 category of superhuman beings appeared from Lord Brahma. And then at one day, what happened? देहेन वै भोगवता शयानो बहु चिंतया सर्गे अनुपचिते क्रोधात् उत्सर्जः तद्वपु. At one other point of time that he was lying down on his bed and he was feeling very much worried, and he was also feeling angry that I was engaged in creation, but creation is not going ahead fast. So मैं जो सोच रहा था उतना फास्टली नहीं हो रहा है. He was feeling very much worried that creation, I am working very hard, but creation is not happening, not going further and further, and creation is not going at fast pace. He was feeling angry upon himself. So as he was lying down on the bed and he was feeling angry from himself, there appeared in that dissatisfied and worried state, he rejected that body, that disposition of the dissatisfaction and worriness and angry. From that, there appeared all the variety of snakes that is mentioned in the next verse. Ye ahyayat, ye ahyata, ahyana, ahyan, ehi yan entatmuta kesha, ahayaste anga jajnire, sarpa prasarpata krura, naga bogoru kandara. As he was feeling dissatisfaction, worry, and anger, he gave up all these mentalities. Then the hair from his whole body fell apart. That hair became known as different variety of ahi or snakes. Then his hands and legs are also fell off. They fell apart from his body. That mental disposition consisting of hands and legs, that transformed itself into sarpa, which have restricted legs and hands, small legs and hands they will have. With that they move from one place to all place, sarpa. And then from his disposition of anger, as he gave up, they became naga, filled with a lot of krodha. Generally, whether they are snakes or sarpa or naga, they are all very much angry. They have wide shoulders because of their hoods, and some of them have their restricted feet. So all these different variety of snakes have been created from Brahma, as if laid down feeling sorry that creation is not happening fast, and he was feeling angry during that time. So this is how all the different variety of Bogoru Khandara, all these variety of snakes which are by nature very much cruel, very much angry, were all created from the angry disposition of Lord Brahma. That is how it is being mentioned. The creation of snakes was not mentioned as part of the animal creation in the previous chapters. So now it is being indicated at this point of time. Then, sa atmanam manyamana kritakrityas ivatmabhu tada manun satarjante manasa loka bhavana. Then eventually after creating the four Kumaras, Lord Shiva and other Prajapatis, other living entities, at the end, now Brahma satisfied that I have done my task successfully. From that satisfaction of creating all the living entities successfully, there appeared Manu, Swayambhuva Manu and his wife Satarupa were born from the satisfaction mentality of, from the mentality of being satisfied, having performed his task of creation of various living entities. There appeared Swayambhuva Manu and his wife Satarupa. In order to continue the creation till the end of the day of Brahma, by the process of procreation, till now Lord Brahma was creating all the variety of living entities by his own mystic potency. Now the creation will continue on by the process of procreation, because now Lord Brahma created both male, female together. I mean, separately in two different forms, that Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa. Then the creation will continue by the combination of male and female forms. Tebhya sosrujasviyam puram purusham atmavan tan drishtva ye pura srishta prasasashmu prajapatim. So it is said that then Brahma gave his own tanum, Swiyam tanum. So basically, his own human-looking body, Lord Brahma gave it to Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa. And Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa and all the other human beings will have the similar bodily disposition of Lord Brahma, that is human-like bodily disposition, human-like bodily features. So in that way. Tan drishtva ye pura srishta prasasasmu prajapatim. After the creation of Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa in the human body, the previous creations of Lord Brahma, all those who were created by Brahma previously till now, they all became very happy looking at this creation of Swayambhuva Manu, and they began to glorify Brahma. Till now you have created so many living entities, that is okay, but now you have done a wonderful creation. We are very much satisfied with this last creation. The creation of Swayambhuva Manu is Sasarja Ante, the final creation of Lord Brahma. Then all those who were created previously, they began to glorify Lord Brahma. They say that Aho yeta jagasrishta sukrutam badate kritam pratishtita kriya yasmin sakam annam adamahe. Ayo yeta jagasrishta. Oh, Lord Brahma, the creator of the 14 planetary systems and the creator of all the variety of living entities. Sukrutam patate krutam. Now at last, you have done a wonderful activity. Sukrutam, the creation of Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa is the best creation that you have done among all creations. Why? Pratishtita kriya yasmin. By creating Swayambhuva Manu, you have established the process of yajna, kriya yoga. You have created the process of yajna, because it is only when Swayambhuva Manu or the Manu, whoever the Manu is in Bhuloka, when they perform an yajna, that yajna will nourish us, all devatas. All previous creations of Lord Brahma are nourished by the process of yajna, which will be performed by Swayambhuva Manu, which will be performed by Manu, who is the leader of all human beings, or Manu's representative, the ruling king. They are supposed to perform yajna. That yajna only will nourish all the previous creation of Lord Brahma. When Yajna is performed, all the Devatas are nourished. When the Devatas are nourished, they will provide rain. When there is rain, there will be the growth of grass, vegetables, fruits, and flowers. And some of the animals will eat grass. The herbivorous animals eat grass, and the carnivorous animals live upon the herbivorous animals. And from the rain, there comes vegetables, fruits, and roots with which the human beings are sustained. So, like that, it is an interdependent act. Annat bhavanti bhutani. All the living entities are depend upon food. Parjanyat anna sambhava. It is by rain, there comes food. The grass for the animals and the grains and vegetables for the human beings, etc. Parjanyat anna sambhava. From rain comes food. But how come Parjanya rain comes? Yajnat bhavanti Parjanyo. By performance of Yajna, there comes rain. But how come Yajna is being performed? Yajna karma samudbhavaha. How to perform Yajna is being described in the Vedic literature. So, at the ritualistic ceremony of the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, this Yajna is being performed. Performance of Yajna is the main activity of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. Yajna karma samudbhava. The main varnashrama duty of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas and Vaishyas is the performance of Yajna. So, in that way, it is being indicated. So, by creating Swayambhu, Manu, and Satarupa, you have established the process of Yajna. By that process, all of us will get food and all of us will be nourished. So, because of this reason, you have done a wonderful creation. Sukrutam Batate Krutam. My dear father, you have created a wonderful creation. Then finally, in the last two verses, it is said that Tapasa Vidyaya Yukto Yogena Susamadhina Rishin Rishi Rishikesha Sasarja Abhimata Praja. Then Lord Brahma, by his ability to perform tapasya, by his ability to perform worship, by his ability to perform yoga, by his ability to perform Susamadhina, being able to get knowledge and practice Vairagya and etc. etc. The sense control. Rishin, Rishir, Rishikesha, Rishin, Rishir, basically the process of knowledge, Jnana, and Rishikesha, the sense control, Sasarjabi Mata Praja. Then he created the great sages, he created the rishis. So he created great rishis by all these abilities. The ability to perform tapasya, the ability to perform worship, the ability to perform Ashtanga Yoga, the ability to perform Jnana, the ability to perform sense control. From all these different abilities, Lord Brahma created so many great rishis, headed by 4 Kumaras. That is mentioned in the next verse. Tebe Chaikaika Saswasya Dehasyamsham Adat Aja Yatta Samadhi Yogardi Tapo Vidya Viraktimat. So, with all these abilities giving them to one person, he created different rishis. For one person, he gave samadhi. One person, he gave yoga. For one person, he gave ruddhi. One person, he gave tapasya. One person, he gave vidya. One person, he gave virakti. It's like that. Various things he has given to different personalities. Endowed with all these wonderful qualities, different rishis were created by Lord Brahma. So, in that way. Samadhi means knowledge, jnana. Yoga means Ashtanga Yoga. Riddhi means siddhis. And tapa means austerity. Vidya means worship. And then virakti means detachment. So different great sages were born with all these different abilities. So thus, Brahma's creation has been completed. And this chapter also completed. Though the details of creation of different variety of beings are mentioned in these chapters, especially in chapter 10, chapter 12, and chapter 20, but the actual sequence of creation that happened by Lord Brahma is like this. First, Lord Brahma created aquatics. They are known as the animals with 5 joints. The water dwelling aquatics, they have their body made up of 5 joints. And then their Lord Brahma created, after creating the aquatics, the water living entities, then he created the trees and plants, which cannot be moved from one place to other place. They'll grow at one place only. The immovable living entity, the trees and plants. And then he created the snakes, as it is mentioned in the previous verse, and also different variety of reptiles. Then he created the cows and buffaloes, different variety of mammals. Then he created the birds, water dwelling birds and land dwelling birds, different variety of birds were created. Then he created all those 8 variety of superhuman beings, as it is mentioned in this chapter. First he created Yakshas and Rakshasas, then he created Devata, then he created Asuras, then he created Gandharvas and Apsaras, then he created Sadhyas and Pitrus, then he created Siddhas, Charanas, Vidyadharas, then he created Kinnaras, Kimpurushas, then he created Bhuta Pichashas, then he created finally Kinnaras and Kimpurushas. Like that, all the 8 variety of superhuman beings were created by Lord Brahma. Then Lord Brahma created the 4 Kumaras, as it is the sequence mentioned in the 12th chapter. Then he told them to beget children. They said no. Brahma became angry. From that anger, there appear 11 Rudras. Then Brahma understood this is not a good thing. Then he meditated on the Supreme Lord. Then from that meditation, there appeared the 10 Manasa Putras. 9 of them were Prajapatis headed by Daksha, Pulaha, Prutu, Vasishta, Kratu, Bhrugu. They were all created. And then there appeared Narada Muni. Then there appeared Kardama Muni and many other things. Then many other knowledge faculties that are required for the people to live in sane condition in this world. The 4 Vedas, 4 Upavedas, 6 Vedangas, 18 Puranas, and different alphabets, different ways of composing the verses, different meters, different singing notes, etc. All those things appeared, created by Brahma. Then at the end, feeling satisfied that I have done my creation happily, from that satisfaction there appeared Swayambhu, Manu and Satarupa. So with that, of course, in between he also created the human beings. So with that, all the different variety of creation of Lord Brahma is completed. So this is how Brahma created. Along with that, Lord Brahma, Vidura also asked unto Maitreya, what did they do having created by Brahma? All the Prajapatis and Swayambhu, Manu and all, what did they do? How did they continue further creation? So that is the subject matter of the remaining part of the 3rd canto and the 4th canto and the 5th canto. All these details are mentioned in the future cantos. So we'll stop here. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for a wonderful class. In fact, for the information on all of you, Prabhuji was, his health was not really up to the mark today, but in spite of low in health, he took this class for the benefit of all of us. Prabhuji, from the core of our heart, we are very much thankful to you. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
One small request to all of you. Kindly do not exit from the group, from the class. Now we will have some kirtan and some bhajans on the occasion of Ashadha Ekadashi. So I am supposed to complete the class by 8:30 only. We still went ahead by 15 minutes. So please stay back and we will have some kirtan and some bhajans on the occasion of Ashadha Ekadashi.
Shall I request? Prabhuji, I think there is some question, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have one question, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, quickly.
Yeah, Prabhuji, Narad, you said that Narad Muni was created by Brahma, right?
Yes.
But then I have heard that he was his mother was a dasi somewhere.
That was in the previous creation. In the previous creation, he was the son of a dasi. Later on, he attained that qualification. In the current creation, he appeared through Brahmaji as one of Brahma's sons.
Okay, Prabhuji.
It is like
Okay,
that.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat
you.
Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have one small doubt. Whatever he has created, are they all present on the Bhuloka only, or some are present in Urdhva Loka, some are in Adholoka?
14 planetary systems. They are all living in it. 14 planetary systems. Who is living where? It is described in the 5th canto, 2nd part, chapter 16-26. When we discuss that section, we will understand who is living where. Kindly remember all of them till then.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you. Dandavat.
Correction. Okay.
So
Prabhuji,
today,
get well soon.
shall we request Bhajanitai Prabhu to start with a kirtan? Bhajanitai Prabhu, are you there?
Hari Bol, yes, Prabhuji.
We'll start with your bhajan or kirtan, whatever.
Okay, I'll start kirtan.
Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Hari Bol. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda